is good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to you out a quick video. I wanted to let you guys know I got some new merchandise available, not just t-shirt anymore. I got different type of t-shirt, different type of shirts and logos that you can purchase on my spread shirt, and also hoodies now. We have expanded and added more to the channel and more merchandise for the brand. Thanks for supporting. It will be in the description and the links will be in the comment section below. Thanks for helping me and supporting the movement. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm going to check out the video. What's good, YouTube? Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis coming to y'all with another video. Today we're going to talk about the Los Angeles Lakers, a team that I felt was going to make it to the playoffs. I said, hey, they won 35 games last year. They added some veterans. They added some ball handlers. They added JaVale and Tyson Chandler. They had a little uphill battle in the beginning, getting into fights. The players getting suspended. They was able to make their way back into the playoff race and move all the way up to the 4th seed, which I had them finishing at. I felt adding LeBron with some new pieces and going with the young pieces that they already had, that they can get home court advantage in the first round. I've even felt that they can get to the NBA Western Conference Finals depending on the team and the matchups that they have. They probably could even go that far depending on the matchups and how the seeding ends going into the playoffs, which we don't know yet. But I feel like this team had enough talent, and I feel like they can be a special type of team. Even though I didn't have them winning it all, I feel like this team had a lot of potential, and we didn't really know how the team was going to be because we didn't know how the players was going to evolve. We didn't know what they was really working on, if the players got better. But adding a player of LeBron caliber helped thrust them and matured and helped them become more competitive. And now instead of them just playing to win games, now they playing for something more important, and that's something that they didn't really have when they didn't have LeBron James on their team, because they wasn't expected to do anything the last couple years, and nobody really had them making the playoffs the last couple years, until obviously you see right now that they are in the race, and they was one of the top teams in the West when LeBron James went down. That plummeted them. But I just want to talk about the Lakers today. I don't really talk about the Lakers as much because there's so much things going on in the NBA right now. But Brandon Ingram is one of the biggest topics that a lot of people talk about when it comes to the Los Angeles Lakers, because he hasn't really lived up to the hype of being a number 2 pick. He was a guy that was long, lanky, can handle the ball, can shoot the mid-range, can shoot the 3 on and off the ball, and then he even developed as a solid ball handler and decision maker for his age. He hasn't been the guy that people thought he would be. They thought when LeBron came, he would be the second best player, and that has been furthest thing from the truth. But at the same time, I feel like Brandon Ingram is having a solid season. It's just the fact that we thought he would play better coming off his sophomore season, where he improved all around and showed that he had a potential to be a star, and he might live up to that potential. And then when LeBron James came in, his numbers regressed, and he ended up just being a role player, which he is right now, instead of a star or even an all-star caliber player that we thought he would be going into this season. And he has disappointed a lot of people. I think his biggest weaknesses are his lack of aggressiveness. He really doesn't try to make things happen. He really doesn't try to take advantage of mismatches enough. He doesn't want to dominate the game as we thought he would as he got older. Because once you know you can stop, you can't be stopped. Once you know the moves and know what you can do, I feel like it makes the game a lot easier. And what I mean is, like, if you look at James Harden, he knows what he wants to do every time he gets the ball, and that puts the defender in a pick your poison situation. You know, I want to do this, but if I do this, I can do that. If I do that, I can do that. And I don't think Brandon Ingram has been able to find out any go-to moves or anything that he can really put the defense, scare the defense. And I think that that's been his biggest flaw, is that as an offensive player, he's just good at a lot of things. He's not great at many. And he's not a great playmaker. He's not a great ball handler. He's not a great shooter. He's not a great three-point shooter. He's not a great isolation player. And I feel like that really hurts him as a player, because he doesn't really have anything he can consistently do that can really, dominate the game. And that's where it comes to Kyle Kuzma people feel like Kyle Kuzma is the second best player because he has that mentality that if you give me the ball, I can get you a bucket. Whether it's shooting a three, whether it's shooting mid range, whether it's getting to the paint, whether it's getting to the free throw line, Kyle Kuzma has that aggressive attack mentality. Every time he has the ball, he wants to go at you. He feel like you can't stop him. He feel like you can't guard him, and he's very confident. And that's something that Brandon Ingram has the ability and the skill set to do, but he fails to do it, and that really shows why a lot of people are disappointed in him. Because if you want to be a superstar, you have to have that confidence. You have to have that ability to know that you can do whatever the fuck you want to do on the NBA basketball court. And I feel like Kyle Kuzma hasn't been able to do it efficiently. He struggles to dominate games consistently, and that's what's stopping him from being an all-star caliber player. He might go for 21 or 25 points one game, but he might give you 16 to 17 the next game. And Brandon Ingram might give you 15 to 18 one game, but he struggles to give you over 20 in general because he lacks the attack and the aggressive mentality. And I feel like that's what's going to trap him in as a role player. Lonzo Ball, I feel like a lot of people was overrating him a little bit. He was the number 2 pick, so I see why he had a lot of hype. And he was a Summer League MVP, so that didn't really help his hype because it just added more on to it. And then he has to deal with injuries. But Lonzo Ball has showed that he's a solid player. Obviously, you will want more out of him since he was the number 2 pick. But he's showing that he can rebound, he can defend, he can guard multiple positions. He's showing more offensive prowess. He's still getting his assists. He's still playing his game, but I seen him play a little bit more aggressive. He's not scared to jack up shots like he was a couple years ago. He's not scared to score. And I feel like he was so hesitant, and he really wanted to make his teammates better, and he really wanted to be a pass first guy, that he forgot that when he was in UCLA, he was a good 3-point shooter. He forgot that he used to get to the paint and make decisions. I feel like he lost his belief in himself. He really wanted to please other people, and he really wanted to, you know, defer. And I feel like now he's going out there playing his game, whether it's defensively, rebounding, or just making plays, whether that's shooting or just making assists or keeping the ball moving. I feel like he's playing more like Lonzo this year, and it's a step in the right direction. But he still can do more, and I feel like that's been the biggest problem with people. They feel like Lonzo Ball isn't living up to that number 2 pick, and I will actually agree with that. Same with Brandon Ingram. And then you have people like JaVale. JaVale been getting a lot of coverage because he has been one of their better defenders, and he has been one of their more consistent players. I know he doesn't do it offensively enough, but he tries and put a lot of effort and energy, and he plays hard, and that's something that he did in Golden State. And that's why they kept bringing him back, and that's why the Lakers went out there and pursued him, because they knew if he was in the role, he was going to go out there and do what he's supposed to do. And the fact that he's becoming a solid rim protector only is going to enhance and make his career a lot more longer, because now he can be a defensive force while also being able to give you, pick and roll options and ability to stay around that rim. He's going to be a great finisher, and he's been able to minimalize what he does, but maximize what he does at the same time. He knows his role, and he does it well. And at the end of the day, he can finish and he can protect the paint, and he has been able to do that. And he has been fighting Tyson Chandler for those minutes, but JaVale has been their best center. Zubac looks pretty good, but we have to see him play more, and it's going to be hard when you have veterans and players that won championships like Tyson Chandler and JaVale McGee. They know what it takes. They know what they're supposed to do, and they're better at the defensive end than he is. So Zubac is still learning. He's still developing, but he's a guy that's going to be there probably long term, depending on if they make a trade. And if they do, I think Zubac is one of the players that other teams would be interested in because of his potential. And I think that he was able to show that last month, but he hasn't been able to really consistently do it since. And I think that that's what's really hurting him, is that they don't really have the minutes because they're trying to win now with this team. And that's what LeBron wants too. He wants to go to a team and have a chance for a championship. And the way to do that is make the playoffs. And it's going to come with some sacrifices, and Zubac not getting that many minutes to develop is going to be one of them. But I feel like as a whole, this team just lack the ability to score enough points. Like when I watch the Cavaliers game and majority of their games, they just don't have enough. Yes, they scored 100 points in the last couple of games, but if you look at it, they scored 100 points against the Thunder, 112 against the Knicks. They only scored 86 points against the Timberwolves. They only scored 107 points against the Mavericks, 113 against the Pistons, 113 against the Jazz. They only scored 95 against the Cavaliers. They really got to find out how they can get good shots without LeBron James. They're 111 points a game. That's 15th in the NBA. That's middle of the pack. That's not going to cut it. They 24. They're getting 24 assists a game. That's 14th in the NBA. That's in the middle of the pack. That's not going to cut it. So if they really want to take that next level, yes, they got to play harder defensively. Yes, they got to communicate. Yes, they got to be on the same page. And I agree with that. But this is a young team, and I'm not using that as an excuse. They really never was a great defensive team, even when LeBron was playing. And most LeBron teams are not great defensive teams. You can go back and look at the numbers. The last time they was great was when he was in Miami. Those Cleveland teams never was great defensive teams every year that he was there. After he left Miami, and this Laker team is no different. They have a lot of good pieces. They have a lot of good players around him, but they literally can rely on LeBron to close games. They can rely on LeBron to make plays. They can rely on LeBron to make shots, and that's something that they struggle when he missed games. Is nobody really say, "Hey, I'm gonna help us. I'm gonna carry us." Kyle Kuzma done did it a couple times, but like I said, he lacks the consistency offensively, and when his shot's not falling, he struggles to to impact the game differently. So if I'm Luke Walton, I got to figure out who are the players that I can rely on to get us there. As LeBron continues to miss games, and even if they make it to the playoffs, LeBron only can do so much. He still needs his teammates to step up. He still needs his teammates to do their part. And as them being young and as them never ever planned on winning teams and the bad habits they developed and the fact that they never even came close to really making it to the playoffs, those things doesn't really help. But that's something that they're going to have to figure out if they really want to make a real push in the playoffs. They got to figure out when LeBron's on the bench, how can we continue to get buckets? Who can we run our offense through? Who can give us, you know, consistent scoring? And when I watched the Cavaliers game, they just couldn't get it going. They just couldn't fight. They just didn't want it enough. And to me, that was the saddest part because they actually should have won that Cleveland game, but they really didn't have players that can make shots on a consistent basis. And that's why, to me, they've been losing a lot of games and they have a negative record when LeBron is gone. When LeBron is there, he can create shots for himself and others, and he can take over games. They don't have that second star, and that's what a lot of people are saying. We might have to make a trade for Bradley Beal. We may have to make a trade for Anthony Davis because these are all-star caliber players. These are all-star players, and they can impact the game in multiple ways. Even if we got to give up a couple role players, at least we know what we're getting out of this player on a nightly and game-to-game basis, and that's something that they just don't have right now, and that's been the Achilles heel of why they can't really win any games when LeBron is gone. They don't have nobody that can run offense through. They don't really have somebody that can really take over every single game outside of LeBron, and that's why they having a problem of going from fourth to now the 19 in the NBA. But the fun part about it is they can get back on track. They got a game against the Chicago Bulls today, and we'll see what they do. This is a game that they really have to win, just like the Cavaliers game. If you want to win and make it to the playoffs, you have to beat the bad teams. You have to beat up on them. You have to bully them, and you have to go out there and dominate them. And they haven't really been able to do that so far. But this Chicago game is going to be big. Usually nobody will really care about this game, but if they want to make it to the playoffs and they want to get back in the playoff picture, they're going to have to start winning against these bad teams, and it's going to have to start in Cleveland. Then they failed. Now they have is a must win in Chicago, and it's not going to be easy. None of these games are going to be easy. I feel like the NBA has only got tougher, has only got more challenging. So every game you think is easy. Every team has talent. Every team has great players on it now. Even if you're the Suns, you got to worry about Devin Booker. You're the Chicago, you got to worry about Zach LaVine, Lauri Markkanen, Bobby Portis. You got to worry about Chris Dunn. You got to worry about Jabari. They have talent, so it's not going to be easy. So they got to figure out what they are, who they are, and what they can do, and what's the best options for them to score consistently to actually compete and win games. So let me know what you guys think. Is the Lakers disappointing, or this is what you thought, or is LeBron so great that if you don't have him, they done, or that's a good thing, or is that a bad thing? Because you want to be able to win without LeBron, but you also need LeBron to get far. So I think it's a double-edged sword. We want to win with or without LeBron, but at the same time, you still do need LeBron if you want to make a big playoff push. But they still should be able to win games against teams like Cavaliers and the Chicago Bulls. That's unacceptable, especially if you really want to be taken that serious as a playoff team. Those are games and teams you have to beat, and they failed to do so far. But we'll see what they do against Chicago. Check out my website, analysisplayground.com. Link me in the description in the comment section below. Check out my Facebook page, analysisplayground.com. Link me in the description in the comment section below. Thanks for watching. Check out my older videos. I do videos just like this, discussions. I do trade deadline buyouts, NBA draft coverage. I also do NBA breakdowns when I break down players' footage and their games. And I also do tributes to the legends. I also do videos every single day. I try not to miss one day, and I haven't missed days and months. And I continue to make these videos. You guys enjoy watching. I enjoy making them. That's why I continue to go. And also, let me know, is a curse having LeBron, or they just got to figure it out, or do they need to make a trade to solidify that second option? And if LeBron gets injured, then maybe they'll be more competitive because they have somebody they can rely on consistently. Until then, let me know what you guys think in the comment section below. Quinn Wade Basketball Analysis. I'm gone.